What's going on, people? It's Javen back for another show. You know how it is, guys. Yeah, it's been a bit later on this week. I've just had a lot going on. Still same week, it's just not 7 days I did it. But you know, I decided on the topic I wanted to talk about today. Guys, before I continue, please hit the like button. Like this video, very important, please. And please, if you're new here and you like this show, if you can, please subscribe to the channel as well. I want to get that growing. I want to get to at least 100 by the end of the year. That's the target. I just hope that I could do that. So please subscribe if you're new here. I believe this is a very good show, criminally underrated. It does a lot of views for a lot of things, but the subscribers are not there. Get that up as well. And yeah, let's work together. So today, the reason why I wanted to talk, it's not going to be too long, but I'm talking about the topic of unpaid internships at sports clubs. In my case, football clubs, but sports clubs, it's the same thing, rugby, football clubs. And the reason why I want to talk about this, because I think it's very important subject actually to speak about. Not many people talk about. Well, I've seen a lot of people talk about them online, on LinkedIn, social media. LinkedIn heavy for it, it's covered it, and also my experiences and my friends of mine's experiences that I've gone in, that I've done it like I have. So, in my opinion, well, I say it's my opinion. I think it's a fact, but for the sake of it, I've got to say it's my opinion. I think that I advise personally. I don't like these unpaid internships at sports clubs, football clubs, let's say, but sports clubs really. I think they're exploitative. I think they're wrong. And I'll go into reasons why I think it's wrong. One, so basically it's very common for you to do your first unpaid internship when you're at a university. Maybe you've done a sandwich course and then you go into like a placement year. And with a sandwich course, for those that don't know, is when a lot of the time, most university courses are 3 years, your standard. In my case, it's a sandwich course. So what that means is that you will do your first year, second year, and then you would do what would have been the third and final year is a placement year where you basically work in the subject, or like in the institute or the subject what you're studying basically. So you're not going to do, for example, I did sports psychology and coaching sciences at uni. So you're not going to go and do, I don't know, a placement in tech, ICT. You're not going to do that. You're not going to do that basically. Or engineering. It's going to be in the sporting industry. That's what you're going to do. So at the start, I thought I was going to do become a performance analyst afterwards. I say that, but there's many things I thought I was going to do. I thought I was even going to try and be a sports psychologist or even a sports scientist. So many reasons. So I kept my options open, applied to this football club, and we was known that it wasn't going to be paid, which is not ideal. But we was pointed that out. We saw it as a way of getting a foot in the door. It's worse when you're in it basically. So it's like you think it's not great that you're not paid, but you don't deep how bad it really actually is. Other people on the course a lot of them did coaching positions, and they obviously got paid for it, or maybe something else, and they either got paid or unpaid. I'm not really too sure. But what I did wasn't coaching. It was working within a football club, getting that on my CV to enhance my CV and to boost it. Now this is a full-time position, by the way, so it's not like 1 or 2 days at the place. This is a full-time job. Like I'm doing full-time hours. But these sports clubs really take advantage of university students. Really, if I'm being quite frank. Not only do they take advantage, the way they take advantage as well is they have a very extreme arrogance that everyone would want to work for these football clubs. It's a big brand, it gives you status, and that you are lucky to be here because people, they know that people will do it for nothing, for free. That's why they get away with doing this. The thing is, they will use you to the max. They'll make you work full-time hours. a lot of them won't even pay your expenses. I was at 2 football clubs. I'm not going to name them. Those that know me personally know the clubs I'm at. I'm not going to name drop them. But I was at one club where they weren't paying me and they weren't paying my expenses for travel. The next one I was at, I wasn't getting wasn't getting paid, but they were covering my travel expenses at the end of the month. That's what they were reimbursing, and that's what they were doing. So I left my first football club. The first club I was at lasted for like 6 weeks. Horrific time, and it was quite personal. What they were doing was it seemed very unstructured. I had the line manager was doing things like trying to make me feel small, trying to humiliate me, and that kind of stuff. But the thing is, why it's hard as well for us, makes it even harder, is because when you're on a placement year, you have to complete a certain amount of weeks and a certain amount of hours to come back for the next course. So your hands are quite tied, and it's not easy getting a placement anyway. It's like applying for a full-time job, so they kind of have you by the balls. In that regard, there was another intern that was getting fed. I wasn't getting fed. They were doing things like, when I get to the office, hiding my computer, my own personal MacBook that cost me just shy of $2,000 at the time. They hid it on the shelf. They would say things like, "Oh, it's football banter." And then they've got sometimes other staff to get involved, all kind of craziness. There was times when like equipment was broken, and he would make me use the broken equipment rather than because he was a person, but a man. And he was using the equipment that was in good condition. He told me to keep my mouth shut. I had a few run-ins with him, I'll be honest, because I started to stand up for myself. I ain't a waste man, if I'm being honest. The things I didn't do that initially, and I started, confronting him, having quite a few confrontations with this person. They said that, listen, if you don't like it, you know where the door is, basically, saying that they can do what they like, and that's how it is. I quickly left the club after 6 weeks. Also, the next when I went to the next club, which was a higher level, that stuff wasn't happening. But in general, it's still, as an intern, you still get mistreated. Like, you get told that you are on their terms. It's basically on their terms when you count as full-time staff. But then they'll exclude you from Christmas parties and let everyone else go to Christmas parties and social. You bring in like they wear a certain brand of clothes. If you came in with any form of item, it could be a cap, it could be maybe trainers, or like maybe a top or something, or a coat. And if they see that as a rival brand, they say you can't do that because it's a rival brand to the football club sponsorship. But at the same time, they weren't paying you or anything, but they have the cheek to be doing them kind of things. You got told that it was. And this is another thing what's so weird, right? And this is another question for another show as well that I will do at some point as well. But people tell me in the comment section, have they ever got this? When they say you start a new place at work, right? And the people always constantly asking you how you finding it. What do you actually? It's the most fakest thing in the workforce ever. I can't stand it, right? So. You get this thing, right, where you constantly get asked, and then what do they expect you to say? Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, everything's fine. So I kept saying that at first. There's this guy, right, who kept asking me. He was working there as well. He was there, one of the staff that was working there. He kept asking me every time he had the opportunity to ask me. Maybe just me and him in the office, or maybe there was not much people, or it was a bit quiet. Constantly asked me how I'm finding it, right? And I just kept saying, yeah. One day, I can't remember why I done it, but I was like, I just told him my opinion. There's a man, oh my God, you think that I cussed his mum? Like, he was defending the organisation, the football club on his behalf. You think that he was responsible for all of this, right? He was like, you got to remember that we're doing you a favour, blah, 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 yeah? Doing you a favour, like, as a placement. Then he compared it to the placement, the club I was at before, saying that we're a higher level, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah. Never talking to this guy again. Because at the start, if I'm being honest, those that are from my community here, he said to me and my other brethren, who I'm not going to name, he knows who he is if he watches this, that at the start he said that, let's give us some advice for like the few, there's a few brothers that are here. For those that don't know what it means by brothers, it's obvious, basically black people. That's what we use, terminology they use that to use on us, black people. So we to say to as brothers or sisters if you're women, if you're female. So he gave this idea, that he's gonna understand you, he's there to look out for you, and he does that. You, my friend, not my friend, you are a. Let's not speak. But yeah, so they done that. But yeah, generally to be, I'm not joking. I'm making a joking sound. But what I'm showing you guys is. Me personally, I would think long and hard about doing this internship, because also from a practical point of view, right? First of all, I think it limits a lot of opportunities for people that are probably a good fit for the role as well. Especially in London, I was lucky enough to be living at Yard, right? In June, I was actually back in my parents' house when I moved back to London for that year before I moved back to where I was at university for the following year, right? So, but at the same time, we did full-on hours, unsociable hours, and I had to get a job. I was working security at the time, doing that job on top of the full-time job I was doing. So I was doing casual security work where I can to actually just to earn some peas whilst I was in London, but on top of the full-time job. So next time I come in. So I'll be filming on a Sunday. So that's it. On social hours, Sunday coming. I remember coming on a Sunday. The whole Sunday gone. Sundays, is for family, the good Lord. If you for those that believe, or even just like seeing friends or families, or just chilling, just doing whatever. It's the weekend, last day. The weekend as well. But I'm out here filming on gantries in the freezing and cold. That's using coding technology. And by the way, I'm not trying to say that I didn't learn any valuable skills. Let me not get that twisted. I did. I learned a lot of valuable skills, and I'm great. And I'm happy I learned them skills. But that's not the point. The point is, it still doesn't make it all good. It's wrong, right? And then I remember sometimes if there was a mistake in the coding. The next day, one of the other staff members would get onto us because they were saying that that it looks bad on them when something's wrong. And I'm thinking, you absolute mother. We're doing work for free, full-time hours, unsociable, getting excluded, from social initiatives, basically showing that they don't really value that much. And then the work that we do doesn't even go in our name, it goes in your name, and you're there getting onto us. I just thought this is an absolute audacity, right? But yeah, I'm speaking from the heart. So even though trying to follow this, I know I go different directions, but I don't read from a script. I think the best ones are when you just speak. But my thing is about the opportunities is let's say for example you got someone coming from Newcastle, there's a job in London, and they apply. They probably have to turn that down and can't afford it because how they're gonna live, whether you're in London or not. You can't live on nothing. You have to have something coming in to support yourself. It's just basic fundamentals. So it limits a lot of opportunity for people, and also from the organisation's point of view as well. How are you gonna ensure that first you're getting the best person, and even if you do get the best person, that they're always gonna want to put 100% in for you? You're not paying them, and you're doing something for the world. It just doesn't make any sense. And also, you're not guaranteed a job. There's been cases where someone told me that they'd done, my former head of my line manager that was there, which he's part of this, he told me he'd done 2 jobs at the same place in the position I was in, and then when he got told that there was no job afterwards for it. And then even after you finish that placement, what happens is, and this is going forward basically, is what I've noticed about these positions. I'm not trying to go into that no more. Not for me. I thought I was going to, but I decided not to go into it after that. Got put off by it, but I still keep tabs on, and I'm still aware of what happens. And there's not been much changes. If anything, it's the same. If not, it gets worse. Like a lot of them will ask you to do another year for free. So basically, they don't really want to pay for your expertise or your profession that you're doing. So it's a very exploitative industry. It's very glamorized that you're working in football. I had people saying, "Oh, you work for a football club, great," but it's not as glamorous as it said. But by the end of the day, if you really want to do it and you feel like you have to take that opportunity, go ahead. But a lot of people that thought that they could do it, they realize that it's a blatant it's a liberty take really. I've had people's experiences. I had one brethren had to leave a football club after 1 week because he couldn't, because there was too much. There was just too much going on. There were so many cases. I had someone else from my course that was doing. He was basically running. He was actually at a lower level, but he was basically running the department, and he wasn't getting paid either. So it's a really exploitative thing, and it's wrong. The thing is though, for it to be changes, I think the solutions is if people, obviously government to put legislation in there, they don't seem interested. But the other solution is maybe unions, like unions, I don't know, or just people just have to be disciplined and say, listen, we're not going to do them no more unless you pay. And then the clubs may be forced to pay. Problem is, someone's always going to want to do it. Someone will sell out. That's the problem, and that's how they got you. But yeah, it's different. The reason I'm talking about this as well is because I've always thought about it here and back, and obviously even after this is a few years after I've done that now, but I see it now and time again just pop up online, and I'm like, yo, this modern slavery thing, which it is, if I'm being completely real, this modern slavery act is still going on. Like, it's just disgrace. So I thought that I'll just talk about it because I'm like, yo, this is not right. And the reason why I think it goes beyond just not getting paid, yeah, it's when you not get paid, which people don't really think about, it sets the precedent for people to take more liberties. Because if you think about it, by default, subconsciously, there's no respect because they're thinking we're getting full-time work out of you on a full-time position, and we're not actually giving you money. So they see it as you're here for free, we can replace you anyway. So there's an arrogance. So where's the incentive to treat you with respect? They may talk to you like you're a little kid. They may talk to you a bit, give you a bit of a lip from like some of the staff members, or they'll do it. I've had it myself because they feel like, well, you're here anyway, and that you should be grateful that you're in this place. I remember one of the bosses at the last club I was at. He said to me, he's like, Javen, do you know how much people would beg me to be in this position? You see, that's the mentality here. Because he tried it on. He tried to, this person tried to increase my hours. He tried to tell me that, oh, I want to bring you in earlier on to increase the hours. This was like some point during my time there. And I'm like, no. And he felt like I should just say yeah and then be cool with it. There's a time when also, I think the schedule was for me to finish at 5 or something, and I went home, and he was basically trying to sell me that, oh, why are you going home? You should be staying longer. And then like, I was like, what? But that's the whole thing. That's the reason why, for me, they're like exploitative, because it's not just about them not paying you. That's the main thing, I'm not gonna lie, and one of the big things, but there's other factors that lead on to it. They don't feel like they have to treat you like everybody else because by default they're not. And that's the problem. So yeah, I think people should stop taking them. Because even if you work, you get some experience 1 year, 2 years, or maybe 3 years. Because now a lot of these sporting clubs now want you to do another year doing the same thing and for free. I had a brethren that was doing a master's course, and he was doing a master's in the industry, and he was doing he when he was an undergraduate like I was, he was at a football club as well, but he went to another football club in London this time. My man, was not getting paid as well, because as far as they're concerned, if you're at uni, you shouldn't be getting paid, even though which is crazy. And he was living in London, yeah. He just had peace to get by, but I'm not going to go into, yeah. But the point is, if he didn't have them peace, he wouldn't be able to do it at all. So it's kind of like, yeah, the treatment is not really really good, really, if I'm completely honest. And I think it's very, and this, by the way, this is not one of my this is not one of the shows I do all the time. It's one of my standalone shows, and if I'm honest, sometimes they're my favourite ones because they're one of the most important ones to do. So they may not get the most views. People may drop off after the first 2 minutes. They may not get the most likes, but I don't care. I do care that you do. I do hope you like it, but I understand that probably people won't. But this is important. It's an important message. It needs to be known. It needs to be spoken about, because it's an issue. I'll be honest. It's a problem, and I've had enough of it happening. It's not happening to me now, but I know it's still happening to people, and I think it's wrong. So yeah, that's my take. I think, again, if you really want to do it, I'm not anyone to tell you not to do it. It's not really to tell you, but I just don't advise it. I just think that they are relying on this idea, taking on this advantage that you want to work on it so bad, you'll do it for nothing. And when the president is set like that, that is when you can lay into problems, and they start using you to their max. They start increasing your hours even more. So they ask you to do things that you shouldn't really be, that you're not really meant to be doing, because in your head you think you're desperate for that to be on your CV. You're desperate for it to give you a reference, and you're hoping that one day you may get a position somewhere. So they play on that hope and really take advantage of that and run with it. So that's my take on it. Guys, please like and subscribe to this channel. Try and get to at least 100. Been on 2 digits for too long. Very important. But yeah, guys, hope you enjoy as well. And also, guys, comment. Don't be afraid to comment in the comment section below. I'll answer it. I'll try to answer every comment as well, which I normally do. Yeah, just feel get your thoughts on it. What's your experience has been like? But yeah. Anyway, guys, I'm out. Peace.